Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott here on a Friday afternoon, just kind of chilling out, enjoying a good vibe that I hope to share. I hope to share the gift of presence, discussing that, what it kind of means, and maybe even demonstrate it a little bit. That's the hope. Along those lines, I've already dropped the link and pinned it to the top of the chat who find their way here to the live stream while it's going. And if any do hope to join, please feel free to do so. I wanted to start off, I was blessed again, some viewers sharing words of wisdom, and I got into this from Uncle Fatty. Thank you, brother. Looking through the filter of fear and control. Anxiety is fear of the uncontrollable future, in line with the thumbnail as well. Stress is fear of the uncontrollable present. Depression is fear of judgment of an uncontrolled past. Yet, control is an illusion. Therefore, there should be no fear. When I learned to let go and let God, when I realized trying to control every aspect of all things was futile, I released the fear of failure, of judgment, of the anxiety and stress, letting the past be the past. It appears as the hard part, and maybe it is the hard part, letting the past be the past, acceptance of the past, allowing the water to flow downstream, rather than being the dam of depression, rather than holding the weight of the past on my shoulders. Release of the past. Do not give the past free rent inside my head. Then, only then, am I at peace. Brother, that is just beautiful, and much gratitude, respect. These things, they are so important. Blessings to all of you bopping through. And yeah, please feel free, share some likes, well, I guess more than one doesn't really help, but anyway, the idea today from the thumbnail, what was it? The Lao Tzu quote again. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. And the present is the gift. Eternally, the present is revealed for us, through us, until we're not part of it anymore. And every day that can happen. We never really know what the future's going to bring. And even the past, I offer for consideration that many people are living in a dream today without realizing it, because they've created these fantasies or distorted images of what they think they have experienced. It's a pretty general description, but it describes how I used to live. I was trapped in my head because my heart was closed off, and it was miserable. And I know from, the clarity of hindsight with purposeful inner work and reflection, I know clearly I was living in a dream, in a reality that was not true. Now, if people tried to tell me, Jack, what you're believing is not true, I don't know what I'd have said. You know, these lives we're living, I'm becoming more and more convinced there's an absolute perfection that is found within and all around all of us. I know there's words create a lot of challenges between our communication, our ability to understand, but I call that present, intelligent, the perfection that I can't always see it and know that it's here. I got to remember sometimes that there's an intelligence and a perfection in the order of all things, cause and effect. There's patterns and cycles and rhythms to life. I call that perfection and intelligence that reveals all time. I call that God, the source, the creation. And then the more I've been listening to, seeking for my own growth, for my own inner peace, I've been seeking wisdom from others. And I'm not the type, I never really latched on to a single guru or anything like that. I like to learn from a lot of different sources. I think the title's didactic, a didactic learner. I think that's the right word, where you're self motivated, you learn by yourself. I've been blessed in this life to live a life that I guess it exists. It's hard to know for sure. Where I'm at, uh, what I've observed, what I have observed and learned from seeking inspiration and, expanding my own consciousness. So, somewhat seeking the path of enlightenment, trying to grow in my understanding and comprehension of the world. So I was living without as many fears, right? That's my topic, my purpose. It's the meaning I found for myself for living at this time of life here on earth. And when I found what I found to be my purpose, what felt right for my purpose, and it was tied to God. So for me, it was kind of an easier, well, it makes sense. God, I'm getting way off track here, aren't I? Where I was going with this for a reason. What I've been learning from others, and I was reminded by others earlier today, some observations on the world. While it really appears kind of chaotic, and depending on what you have learned, what your spirit has allowed you to discover, depending on where you're at on your own path, the world and the future can seem pretty darn dark, pretty depressing. A lot of reasons to be angry each day. However, the other side of that is there is a shift that is happening. The corruption is becoming so undeniable, so irrefutable that people are realizing, oh, hey, the corruption way over there might actually have something to do with my life. These problems of others might actually be affecting me. So there's a shift going on all around the world, and people are experiencing their own life and death situations every day. I believe the world is shifting. We are breaking free, that the darkness and the oppositional, the truly evil forces, I've heard it said that the truly evil forces have already been overtaken, and that mankind is still just kind of stumbling in its own confusion trying to figure it out. But what I'm offering, what I've been reminded of, is the future that we should see, we can see, I believe we will see, is a world with more optimism, more hope, where people are generally more optimistic about the future that they're creating because they realize that they are co-creating their future. People will recognize that we are not the slaves of others. We are not the tools and just to be extorted or used. We are here to create the most beautiful world that we can before we're gone. And the only way we can understand that truly, to the only way we can truly consider and understand that as a probability or a reality, is if we join together as greater groups of men and women, join together in the present together, right? For the purpose of creating a better future. It all starts with joining together in the moment, in the present. And that's what I'm hoping to offer. Just we can start it out right here. Anyone who wants to join the link is welcome to join in the present. We can share together the glory of life in all that it might bring. And I don't know. I don't know what the future might bring. All conversations are truly open and welcome. There's, I don't know why. I don't understand. I mean, that could be true. You could be right that maybe in this generation it's not going to be us, or it is going to be us, but I don't know why until an abyss opens. And actually I've heard theories that there have been abysses opened already. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. But I do know that the world is waiting for us. Welcome, Uncle Fatty.
Much love, brother.
To you as well.
Beautiful day, man. Beautiful day.
Brother, it's humbling. It is absolutely so beautiful. Here in especially the Pacific Northwest, man, where you and I are at. Holy cows.
We could use some snow.
Well,
I love a good sunny winter day, nice and crisp outside. The air's clean. Man, nothing more better.
That is true.
I know we got about 3,000 or 4,000 people right now that are really stressed out up here, Jack.
You think that's all?
Well, the ski resorts aren't open, and the folks are waiting to go to work.
Oh, that's right.
Let alone the tens of thousands waiting to go out and have fun, man, that are just itching for fun, itching for life, I was talking to some guys that, we're waiting to go back to work at the ski resorts, and it's an antsy feeling, isn't it? When you're living in the future and you're living in that anxiety and you're stressing yourself out in the present. And I think what you're talking about is Zen, and finding that bit of Zen of, I can't control Mother Nature. I can't control anything but the way I feel. And if I go back to being a caveman, and I think about a caveman in this situation, it's all the same brain chemicals. It's all the same natural reactions to responses in our presence, in what's going on around us, in our cognitive reality, right? And just being able to just look at the mountain and know that we'll be there soon, compared to waiting and wanting to be there soon, and just knowing that it will come. just allowing it to be what it's going to be. I mean, that's the hardest part in life, I think, man. Everybody, like I said, we wear the weight of everything on our shoulders. And why do we do that? Like, it was the hardest thing for me to get over, was just being that dam of resistance, you know, being that manifested negative, like you were just talking about, that being in my own world, in my own dream, not really realizing what the world was all about, even though I was having fun and loving where I was at. It just, we manifest our destiny, don't we? We project and we become. And when we project in the even slightly toned negative, compared to the zen of just allowing the awesomeness of the entire world to just come to us, and we get to be a part of that, it's a different way of looking at stuff. It's a big change that I think we were raised in society. As a collective, always looking for the negative in the news, in each other, in the soap operas, in the drama. Negative
Agree.
selves, you know,
Well,
realizing
and
that
this
we're
is
in a,
why I'm not focused on what is the world going to bring. I'm focused on what I can bring to the world, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Um, and hmm, I love what you're saying. I never got it, even though I've lived in the most beautiful, ideal situations. I have never gotten into downhill skiing or snowboarding.
Or just floating the river in the summertime, or you know, whatever it may be, getting out for a couple lines in the water, getting out for some fishing, getting out for a hike, and just either way, while you're out driving around during the day, just enjoying what it is, enjoying nature for what it is, enjoying the beauty that we get to live in every day, no matter where you're at. You know, and you know how it is with the transplants up here, right? They come up here for a couple, maybe by the second winter, they're going back to where they came because it's just too cold. Well, enjoy yourself. Buy a snowmobile. Get out and, you know, buy some cross country skis. Get some spiked shoes that you can go run in, or buy a coat if you like to walk. You know, it's really hard. I know where you were going, where you're saying, you know, we project into our own negative. We live in this own fantasy world of, this is the world, and this is how I can change it, compared to allowing ourselves to change it, allowing ourselves to be, allowing and just being part of, compared to being part of the control, and having to have that sense of control when control's an illusion. Now, I know I can come into a situation in a negative way and completely change a conversation that was just absolutely beautiful. And I think people are using that, you know, that sure, you can control that, but in an overall grand sense of things, when you really think about it, control is a construct. We're going to manifest what we want to put into any sense of control, but who's really controlling ourselves? When we pull that in reverse, what can you control in reverse? Nothing. Then what are you really controlling in forward? Absolutely nothing. Controlling your own bullshit of made up reality, allowing the world, being cognitive of how you actually affect every single thing around you, is not control. It's inclusion. It's being a part of. You ever read
Okay.
the what was the one? Alan Watts. Alan Watts has got some really mindset type of Buddhism and especially with the living in the past and living in the future, and just, being a part of the cosmos compared to being the cosmos. Creating your own bubble of reality, rolling that bubble of reality into other people's bubbles of reality.
Let me interrupt you for just a moment. Another dear friend joining.
Hi,
Welcome.
Jack.
What's up, Cynthia?
How are you guys?
Feeling blessed today. How are you?
Yeah, buddy.
Feeling the same. Feeling the same.
Beautiful.
Excellent. I just came up here. I was popping in. I was reading it, The Gift of Presence. So I was like, let me go give my presents to Jack.
It's welcomed and
Thank
appreciated. Thank you, Cynthia.
you. I hope you gentlemen are having a great day today.
Beautiful day.
It's the weather's just right over here today. So I'm definitely enjoying the sunlight. And I'm off, so off days are always good.
Off on a Friday. Is that a 3-day weekend?
No, I work Sunday through Thursday.
Nice.
Yeah. So Fridays and Saturdays off have been that way for at least 10 years, and I love it. It's like you still get that one day in the week to do all the things you need to do. And then that one day on the weekend to catch up with friends and family. And then back to work.
Just making up to catch up with yourself every day too.
Well, I take Saturdays to make no plans. I don't do any work. I try not to do any housework. It's strictly whatever the day takes me. And but the rest of the days are work.
Yeah.
I did a little Christmas shopping today. I came across a great steal at the thrift store. I found these 2 end tables for $40. And I got them home and looked them up, and they were Pottery Barn tables that were signed. They were $400 a piece when I looked them up. I was like, yes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So that was my huge excitement win of the day.
Take those wins. Yeah.
There's what's his name? Provo. What's this guy's name? Provo.
Provo.
Is that in a cheese? Isn't that a cheese?
It's a town in Utah.
It's right outside of Salt Lake.
Oh.
Kind of on the south side of Salt Lake, up towards the Cottonwood Canyons and the Snowbird Ski Resort.
It's a cheese though, right? Because it's like Cheese Planet.
I think you're thinking of provolone, maybe.
Yeah, provolone cheese. Because I'm like, why is he calling himself a Cheese Planet? He's a bit peculiar to me.
There's many fascinating people, particularly when we get here online.
Jack, I love that you bring that up. Tonight, the title of my live is Are You an Outsider?
I saw that. That's right. Thank you for that reminder. Hey, so it's shared. Someone had posed a question to me about the mods, and mods, please share, promote. If you're having conversations and someone might be inspired by something else you discovered, share what you want. I mean, I don't care.
Well, a lot of times, I think me personally, I always elect the permission of the host, because it's your stream. It's showing permission. And I don't want to see somebody up here and be like, oh, let me share them. And you're like, I really hate you. And I'm like, oh, shit. I just, But,
I respect that. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
I always ask to restream. I always ask if I can use somebody's content because I want to show respect. This is your work. This is your creation. And I don't want you to think I can just walk into your house and take it.
I respect that. And if, honestly, for me, everything you say, yes, please take and share. You're not asking for anything that's, unreasonable, unhelpful. I think most of us are actually that way. But we sometimes forget to ask, forget to recognize that, hey, maybe there is a boundary here. I've overstepped boundaries a lot. in the past, being ignorant. Good intention sometimes, but
Right. And it's just I noticed that I do treat this different. I treat it like it's a business. So I always want to do good business.
me too.
Yeah, I was talking about that with the guy the other day, of the difference of just the online communities between looking at life in general as a business or just as a game, as a personal whim.
All right. Well, I'm going to head out. I've got this neighbor who must be going through it with his wife because he's been sitting on the patio playing reggaeton music all day. And it's actually depressing me. But can y'all not hear it?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Let me close the door too.
Going through a breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you were saying he's playing reggae, like breakup music?
Yeah, he's been sitting on the patio with his, like, they've got this patio that is literally the size of they have an L sectional, a 8-piece table. They have they have the hugest patio, and he's just been out there all day in his feelings. And I'm like, bro, I almost want to go talk to him. Are you all right, man? What's up? I'm sorry.
Invite him. Invite him, Cynthia.
You might think he can always talk to me. Uncle talking about the difference between I don't want to be too friendly, Jack. You were thinking about the difference between the online communities. Do we treat it like a business, or do we treat it like a hangout?
Right.
And so
kind of a different way of approach, definitely, when you're being cognitive of what can and will be held against you.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then there's just been sometimes you can sit so close to somebody and they'll pretend to be your friend just so they can get information to use against you later.
And bomb the door on the way out of the cave every time they leave.
Every time. And you're like, and then they'll go back to, I'm not even talking about anything over here in this area. I've got a whole nother situation and I'm speaking on that. And I'm just like, why did you play with fire again? You know what I mean? Like it's not working for you. But these are all lessons.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to offer and remind. I've been learning those lessons too. And it's hard to know what to do, what is right. Do you share trust with people hoping they do the right thing and whatever? But what I've been learning and reminding myself is when people betray the truth, betraying trust is typically betraying the truth. And when people betray the truth, they're showing themselves.
Absolutely.
So even the worst dirt, I don't know.
I've been thinking like so many people are like, ooh, Cynthia's so fake. And other people like, no, she's not fake. But then I started thinking like, I am going to look fake to them, because if we don't have the same measure of judgment, if we don't have the same reactions to things, I am going to look unfamiliar to them. People can't understand why I've made some of the decisions I made. They don't understand the viewpoint I came from because it's black and white for them. And so I have to be okay with that being the word that's, oh, you're so fake. I have to be okay with that, because at the end of the day, we just don't measure things the same. And I'm not going to look real to you.
That's pretty compassionate of you. Well, I think it's at least a logical and reasoned approach for you to be healthy and allow people to be how they are.
Because we don't have the same experiences.
You're right. This is where we're at, though. At this time, I think collectively, we're going through this process where in the past we didn't understand each other. And it was really hard getting things across. I trust that we're actually going to break through this, that we are going to find ways to overcome the foundations of knowledge that sometimes separate us, especially in this truther community where a lot of the corruptions have been realized. This is kind of the reason I wanted to discuss the gift of presence. That is truly, that's the key. The key to our understanding is, especially with each other, to be grounded and present and accept the gift of each other with our hearts. Open our hearts to really connect with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot.
Is there a boundary on YouTube? Is there a different barrier that needs to be up that you don't have up in real life because you can feel them, you can see their behavior?
The electronic, it creates another paradigm, another separation, and it's more challenging to be present with each other like this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it brings benefits of, we actually don't have to smell each other, or I don't know. I've imagined some smelly characters.
There's an anonymity there. There is virtue in being anonymous, and there's definitely virtue in not, and having the personal connection of name to name, eye to eye, real handshake connection. It is possible online. It's all about how everybody approaches it, though. There's no reason that to what you were saying, Cynthia, that like when I was doing tool reviews,
Mm-hmm.
there's people that say you're a faker, you're not authentic on tool reviews.
How could you be fake on tool reviews?
Right. So it's perception. It's
right.
It's haters gonna hate, and players are gonna play, and haters hate the players. So, I think where it comes to living in the present is understanding the game and hating the game and loving the players, loving all the players as much as possible, and allowing that game of risk to really be life, to be internal, to be felt like, shit's real. Shit is definitely real. I can't control Mother Nature, but I can control the way I feel about not being able to go do what I was planning on doing. And when plans change and we feel that denial, anger, fear, fight or flight, 1 second, all of that comes within 1 second. Denial. Oh, shit. And then within that 1 second, we're completely changed from that one little cycle. And when we can recognize that cycle just hit us, be cognitive of the, some DeWalt guy doesn't like my Milwaukee review. Oh, okay. Am I going to hold myself accountable and change the way I present myself on a tool review because somebody says you look fake?
Are you going to address it, Fatty? Are we giving them what they want when we address it and they see that they somehow got to us, or are we somehow rising above when we don't address it?
Right. And you don't even mention it. It's water off the duck's back. It's but society doesn't teach us that. Society teaches us to be, sensitive dudes that are, that we saved the princess, but now we have to go save a new princess. And it's all about the struggle of saving the princess. We're in that struggle. We have to fight the fight. We have to fight the battle. We have to be the guy on the white horse. We have to, maintain this image. We have to, but then when we save the princess, we're never taught how to be a prince.
I remember when you told that story earlier, and that really resonated with me. That was an interesting perspective.
Are we stuck in the roles that society has kind of taught us? And are we stuck in that loop, in that pattern of struggle?
How about this? I think we're stuck in whatever we don't change.
And we don't recognize.
That's a good one. what we
Yeah.
don't recognize. And it's
That's-
hard to recognize what we're stuck in when we're lost, when we're stuck in our mind. Literally, we're trapped within ourselves, the combat and the loop between the past and the future, and just completely ignoring the gift, right? The true gift that is the day, the moment.
Yeah.
What I've been looking at myself, trying to find what have I done, so that I can hopefully help others understand. The practice of presence is an intentional mind to accept completion. Doesn't mean that everything's done, doesn't mean that everything is the way you want, but as far as the moment, everything is complete. The world is going on. It doesn't need me. I don't need it. It is perfect. I think I disappeared.
Yeah.
I'll yield. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Mm.
And the cowboy movies taught us that there always has to be resolve, right? There's always got to be a resolve. There's always got to be closure. On what scale do we allow that closure? Can we allow little things to be just like you said, Jack? Just that's cool and that's cool and that's cool and that's cool, but the whole damn thing doesn't have to be absolutely resolved. Just being allowed that now and the beautiful is the result.
What you just said, Uncle Fatty, this is something I realized about myself. There's within us this innate desire for completion, of closure, right? Particularly in relationships, we need closure. I drove myself nuts, literally. I mean, in hindsight, I literally drove myself nuts because I couldn't be at peace without the answers.
Yeah.
Sometimes
no years an absolutely raging fool. Yeah.
Hold on. Yes, Cynthia, what were you saying?
I said sometimes no answer is the answer, and we have to be okay with that answer.
Yeah, it's a tough.
I was afraid of that.
To come to. Yeah, it is.
What do you mean, Jack? You were afraid?
In hindsight, what I realized, because I didn't have God, I didn't have faith in anything but me. As far as I knew, my entire life and anything I did or received was a result of me. So not knowing the answers, not being able to find closure and the strength of knowing I was right, the fear of punishment, the fear of being wrong, I didn't recognize those fears. They were real. And actually what it was the fear of not being enough. And since I didn't have enough answers, I couldn't assume that I was enough. I had to assume I was not enough. Anyway, these stupid loops our minds can get into. Finding the peace in the present, being able to accept. And this is where faith in God, it is a grace. By God's grace, I have finally released my stubbornness.
Yeah.
And God allowed me to discover faith.
For me, I don't want, I'm not in control. I don't want that control. That's a lot of pressure. Like Jack was just talking about, that you put on yourselves. So when I turned my life over to Christ and allowed him to guide it, I realized you're in control. I'm not. Just let me know what to do. And some may see that as a simpleton, but I'm at peace. I have peace. And that is something you can never buy. You can't buy peace. Money's not going to bring it. It might make you feel good, but it's not going to be peaceful.
Nothing is more important than peace. This is what I've discovered. And here, this is a good question. Wait, if the world is perfect, why do I want to change it? part of the perfection I see, part of the perfection God allows me to see is ways for the world to improve. What an amazing game, right? What a gift from God to place perfection in front of our eyes and yet still have the opportunity to be influencers and to nurture and to help encourage and to help others grow. And what I hope to share in the world is I want the world to feel more peace, like we're talking about. It really is, it's the value of it. There's no price. It's no material wealth.
We talk about love so much, and sometimes people want love and companionship, but that love to me is the most beautiful love, and that love is what allows me to give love. And I couldn't give that love if I didn't have that love. It's a lot of love, connection, and exchange going on, and I need it. I need to feed off of it.
The
So
attitude for gratitude.
Yeah. So I can continue to love, and even those I don't want to. But no, there's some though.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. That's the ultimate hard part, really, is being able to pray for your enemy, to be able to pray, that you love them enough that it's not a hate thing. It's a, God, I just really wish you could change, and I wish I could be a part of that. And I know what Jack's saying about the societal change too. Like it's real amazing to be able to be kind of, I would say honored enough to be able to look at what's coming and look at what really is a societal change that is shifting right now, that is becoming something different, and being able to be a part of that system that's already there, and not being able to control that system or be, not trying to change that system, but be a part of the change that is inevitable. It's the Holy Spirit. I've came to Christ three times and have denounced him extremely one time. And just the awareness at least just of the Holy Spirit in general is something that's really been a huge thing for me to accept, of the control. That's why this is such a heavy subject for me. I've spent my whole life really trying to understand anxiety and understand depression, and understand stress especially
Oh, yeah.
having employees and trying to run businesses, and now with this new perspective I've had the past few years, it's just such a zenful, blissful way to approach life in general through the Holy Spirit, whether it's Buddha or Jesus Christ or the goddess Kali Ma. That there's so many ways, and there's so many paths, and every path has the branches that trip us, and every path has the steps that we must climb, and the steps that we must fall down and reclimb sometimes. And allowing each and every step and each and every path to be its own, and knowing that we're all coming together right now on this one platform. Alan Watts did a really great analogy breakdown of levels, and say we put our God, we put our Jesus on the top level, and he's got the ladder that goes to heaven. He's the top level. That's the way to heaven. And the level is an octagon, and on each 8 sides is a ladder, and then each 8 platforms, there's 8 more ladders, and by the time you get down 8 platforms of 8, it's like 11,777,126 ladders. And on those ladders, each ladder is 1 million people. And are we the ones that are going to stand on a platform and help our brothers up? Or are we going to stand on our platform that we get to and punch down?
Right.
Is Jesus, he doesn't care which way. He doesn't care the path that people come to him. Each
Right.
person's allowed their path.
So, okay. Yes.
So for us to allow each other to have their own path is a releasing of the judgment, releasing of the bullshit, and unconditional love of helping somebody up below you, helping somebody up onto that platform, no matter what their path was to get there. You know, we're all trying to get to that same level. We're all trying to find Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to punch down? Who are we to tell somebody that their path?
Do you see are people punching down here, or
No,
are we just
no.
What are we?
General.
Where are we going?
In general, how, you know, who am I to say that you must go back to the starting line and follow my path? And I think there's a lot of that in life.
Right?
No, I think there's a lot of that just in life in general, you know, and I see it online. I see it with, you know, some of the guys that are using the Bible as ammunition. The Bible says this, and therefore you should, you know, and I know this, therefore you need to follow my path because I came to this path and I know this and you don't, type of attitude.
There's people of all sorts out there. You're right.
Yeah, you know, and just having that wherewithal of everybody's allowed their own path. Everybody's allowed to climb their own ladder. Everybody gets to their own platforms in different ways. And I don't want to be one that's going to stand on a platform and kick somebody back down and say, you must go follow this other ladder that I came up.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Yeah, no.
Alan Watts is super deep, dude. I'm trying to kind of paraphrase like a 300-page book there. So, but he's a
great inspiration.
It's a living in the present and not trying to, you know, say everybody on this ladder is wrong because one person on that ladder did something wrong that I don't agree with. So I'm going to judge everybody on that ladder depending on that one person.
Now, can we use ladder? Can we use like different races or different classes or different,
right?
I mean, like different, so just different groups, and we're no one to judge any group. Like
I'm going to come into your group later tonight, Cynthia.
No one's to judge any walk.
Right. You know, like I'm going to come into your room later tonight and say, well, there's a person in your chat that I think did something wrong.
Right.
And I'm going to judge everybody here tonight, depending on the one misinterpretation that I made, the one judgment that I held against this one person that did this one thing that I misunderstood, and take this totally different, separate way. And I'm going to judge everybody in that chat room because of that.
You bring up a good point that I wanted to hit on the topic. Are we the company that we keep? If I'm in a group of people who are rioting, but I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, please stop. Am I still going to look like the rioter? And am I one? So that was definitely another time. Look at y'all. That's how we work. We work together.
Yeah.
This is the interesting paradigm that I see throughout our culture, is that people they claim to be a part of a group for some things, and yet claim, no, that's not me. I'm separate.
Right.
Whether it's the political parties, whatever, all sorts of, even race, right? We play these cards on each other.
And so, like Uncle Fatty was saying, the people of the ladder, you know, take away the ladder and just say the people of whatever blank, you know, the people who agree with this person when he said that and they chatted right, you know. So now, how do we look to other people? Are we the company that we keep? But is that different from metaverse life and in real life? You know, I'm not going to go sit at the movie theater with the ones that are throwing popcorn and being loud. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to my own side. No, for real. And so
it's hard to soar with the eagles when you're hanging out with the turkeys.
Right. But do we act the same in the metaverse? Because it's a panel. So we're now the movie. How are we going to act? Look at us. Look at us.
Funny thing, up around here in the wintertime, we get a lot of bald eagles that come in and eat all the salmon that are getting all dead in the lake and everything out here. And they will fly down into these flocks of turkeys. And the eagles, the bald eagles, female and male, will hang out with flocks of turkeys up here.
Really?
I've got pictures of it happening. It's real hard to drive by a flock of turkeys and there's a bunch of white heads. And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell? And you literally have to stop. And it is that instant judgment. It is that instant guilt by association, right? You see a pack of lions and there's a couple of tigers in there. Those are still lions. They're still ligers, whatever they're going to be, until you can discern, until you can take that, and I think that's a human nature thing. I think we do judge and group and label, and
until
the wherewithal of living in the now is the figuring out of the knowing, the taking the time to be cognitive of what it is compared to those snap judgments. But
here
online, man, there's a lot of guilt by association. and
Hey,
people don't even know each other, and it's mostly
there's an incredible hey, Uncle Fatty, can you please pause just for a couple of minutes? Okay, I love you, my friend. There's a lot of denial on these panels too, and here I kind of wanted to touch into a different way, but to feedback with these comments from the chat here. You have to be in near total denial to claim to be happy here in this system with the level of human suffering going on.
Yeah.
There's a truth there. Okay. There is a truth, but we live in a realm of duality, right? We can choose sides and say, yep, that is the total truth, but I disagree. I say that is a partial truth. There is human suffering going on, but and then this, perfection wouldn't include the suffering of children. According to who? According to those who suffer, definitely. According to those who judge the suffering, definitely. However, from a greatest perspective where life is a gift to be treasured and shared through us all, there's a collective opportunity, responsibility, a collective burden for us all to help overcome the suffering that, for whatever reason, has been. And I don't consider myself indifferent to the suffering, but I did learn how to not continually cry. I mean, when I started waking up to the atrocities that are happening in the world, the human trafficking, the child I've cried a lot, but I choose to believe that our creator is so divine that God has gifted us within us the ability, even in the face of suffering, even in the face of injustice and injury, even in the times of darkness, we can still shine. And the way we shine is through our optimism, through our hope, through our care, through our presence. I found happiness even when I had very little to be happy for. I found reasons to be miserable when I really had very few reasons to be miserable too. And so I appreciate the comments, and sorry for the interruption for this, but I don't want to live in a world where God's perfection cannot be realized. I don't want to live in a world where love is limited and it's not available to be shared. There's a lot of people who are living that way. Hey, sorry. This is one I agree. There is no excuse for child torture. There is also no excuse for murder, for corruption, for enslavement, for deception. There's really no excuse for us to even lie to one another. And yet we all do it. Well, I won't say that because I know there's many others who do not. I'm joining those who don't lie. um,
Again, whenever I see someone, who's homeless, I definitely always try to give them money, but I don't always carry cash, but I always give prayer. And there's been times I've always questioned, just, do they even know? Do they feel it? And then there was a rapper that died, and I personally prayed for her. And just recently she did an interview, and she said, I want to thank everybody that prayed for me, because I truly felt it. I did truly feel it. And so, although I can't just put on my cape and go out there tomorrow and stop every hurt child in pain, I can pray. And I know that is something, and that is always have something to give, no matter what it is.
I'll admit, Cynthia, I know the power of prayer. I
Right.
know the power of intentions and shared, especially shared intentions in prayer. I
Mhm.
know miracles exist. Myself, I've been losing my faith in prayer, to be honest. Um, I've been learning how to just find peace and gratitude, and given up kind of, I don't know what I got to do to get my, I don't know. I'm just living each moment. And what you're saying, Cynthia, we don't always have the ability, the resources immediately to help others with their problems. Some people don't even see that they are having problems, but we can offer our prayer and our intentions. And I believe that is how God serves us, is through our will and our intentions. And now I'm contradicting myself. I know there is power in prayer. I know there is.
I've definitely been there myself. I was probably there when I was transitioning into living alone for the first time. Like, that was very scary. But there were times that I were like, Lord, I need you to answer my prayer in a way that I understand it and I know it's coming from you. Like, I need you to talk to me like I'm 2 days old and I don't know nothing. Like, I need, like, someone early in my journey of faith really talked to me about being specific in
Okay.
my prayers, and saying, I need you, I need to understand you, I need to hear you. And I think for me, in the beginning of my prayer life, I didn't even like to pray for myself, because I felt like I was being selfish and greedy. So when somebody in Sunday school asked me about that, and they told them, and I told them that, and they said, well, okay, if you feel that way, pray for yourself last, but always pray for yourself. So that's what I do. I do all the prayer, and then I pray for myself, because it does feel, sometimes it can feel like, well, you got so much and you've already given me so much, but this one other thing I got going on. But we can't, that's just ourselves lying to ourselves, and that's just a trick being played. Like, we the Lord does want us to pray to him, and especially when we don't understand, he just hold on. I promise you, I'm with you. He says, like, I'm never leaving you. And yes, like, Jack, you are not alone when you feel like you're loved. You like, I feel it too sometimes. And then I remember the verses. I just tell the verses. I open up my Bible. Like, I don't allow my mind to go there, because it's just a waste of time. I'm gonna come, like, it's gonna be okay. And I just gotta be still and wait on God's time. And Jack, I know it can be, ooh, this is a big one, God. Can you work this one out? And you just have to just stay connected and ask
Well,
him.
hey, this is where I'm at. My
I,
life, it will require miracle. I mean, I believe and I have faith that maybe that's what God might be doing with me, is allowing me to become where I am, so that it can become a comeback story for others to be inspired by. Today I got, there's been questions asked regarding my housing and shelter. And today I got the notice of lease termination. So reminded me it's been 9 months since I went through that process. And God is still, time is continuing. And yet, I don't know. On this, Chuck, don't be so limited in your thinking, please. I understand, yes, we serve God. How? By serving the world God created. God serves us with the opportunity to serve the world. And God, through our mind, our will, our power, our prayers, our intentions, our deeds, I think God does serve us with all ideas, all inspirations, all opportunities. God serves us completely. This is where my mind, what I was trying to articulate yesterday in the stream, is spending some time considering. I've heard it said, the love God holds for you, for me, each and every one of us individually, that the love God holds for us is so divine and so beyond what we can comprehend. So imagine how much God loves you for the fact that all of eternity in this entire world, in all of its majesty, all the medicines, all the flavors, all the sounds, sights, all of that, it was created for me, for you. That's a God who serves. That's a God who loves. And then through the example, the teachings, the manifestation of Jesus long ago, we were shown the way. People before us were shown the way long ago. And yet, look at the world we're living in. This is absolute nonsense, insanity. And yet, just like that comment said, with all the suffering in the world, it feels pretty damn good to be, does it not?
Feels that much better to know that I'm not necessarily one of the suffering, especially, man. What can I do, man? What can I do? Can I jump up? Can I go save? Can I spend my entire life on the streets trying to save? Can I or can I bear witness to what I've been an experience of? Can I try to be an inspiration when it comes to how I've lived and how you can think about things maybe the same way? And enjoy the now and enjoy what can be offered as the now. Nobody's promised tomorrow.
Amen.
We're not even promised right now.
That's the key.
Enjoy.
It is a gift.
I mean, like, that's part of the acceptance. There's going to be shitty things that happen in life. Yeah, man. That I'm about balance. To have the ultimate high of the high, there has to be the low of the low. And it's where does the high of the high demand that there is balance? Because the low of the low will not demand balance. Those that are up on maybe a higher level of consciousness, on a higher level of society, on a higher level of financial ability, that
Yes, in the mind, sorry to interrupt, in the mind and in the spirit, we are separated, yet in the form, this is what I think is going to happen, is that we will wake up. We'll wake up to the reality that, hey, the world is not supposed to be this way, and we can all do better. One of the things you brought up, though, Fatty, is something I felt within myself. This urge, this pain, honestly, this pain that I couldn't do more because there's so many people sleeping in the streets in my own community. Yeah. And it was driving me nuts. But where I've been learning is what you went to as well, with the balance, right? All I have to do is the best that God brings forth. What is God going to allow me to do? And I've been trying to practice, luckily without, I mean, I don't have the regular schedule of a job and family and all that stuff. So it allows me to just really pay attention inside. And I've been trying to allow spirit, inspiration to move me with the idea of where can I serve. And then as I go out doing my tasks or whatever, I'm always keeping in mind what might God bring forth for me. When I started with,
You can only do what you can while you can do it. You can only do so much. You can't put yourself out there.
I'm gonna jump off. Thank you guys. I'll see y'all later.
Cynthia,
I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, Jack. Never be afraid to ask for prayers. And because listen, when you get those prayer warriors behind you, amazing things happen. I have always prayed for you. I will continue to pray for you. And if you are praying for Jack, please just let him know, because at the end of the day, we could all use that. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Much love. Our sister and friend.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bounce back to this. This is what I have learned in my own experience as well. God's will requires sacrifice, but it comes with rewards you could never imagine. I've experienced this. It's rarely the rewards you think you want. Yep.
Straight up.
Don't be disappointed when you don't get what you think you want. I've said this in my life through the inner peace that I've felt and known, the growth and changes I've went through. God's offered me answers to prayers I didn't know to ask for already. And this God's will requires sacrifice. I encourage everyone, the greatest sacrifice you can make is the selfishness and the negative patterns of thought, the limited thoughts of the ego. When we can sacrifice our old way of being in order to serve God's will, and life becomes more of an adventure. And on this one, if we flip this around, it becomes clear. Let's say everyone could just decide to be happy. Would we then conclude there are no problems going on, nothing to solve? I would say absolutely not. We would still have the same problems and the same things that we dislike that are unhealthy, but we would be focused without the resentment and without the irritability, the feelings.
Yeah.
Happily, we could work together to solve each other's problems pretty quickly and easily, I think.
And just, having the experience, I guess, whatever it is, having the zen in life to know what battles to fight and know which battles are maybe futile and which battles are going to be not more of a struggle than they're worth, but in that sense of, how much can I really do? I've got to maintain in my own life. I've got to maintain my own peace and serenity. Am I going to put myself in situations that are going to push and poke and prod at that? Sure. Am I going to put myself in a situation that is going to absolutely crush it? That's going to crush my serenity and my love for life? Am I going to, how deep are you going to dive into the pile of shit to change the pile of shit?
At this point where I'm at, it only made sense to me that I'm supposed to go into this as far and as deep as I can possibly go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm truly all in and committed to the goals of trying to be an influence and transform the ways of the world. I think a path is through the American government by communicating the truth effectively. I think that we can connect to the human beings anyway. I'm all in. I'm all in. What I decided a long time ago after realizing who I am one who serves. I am a leader. I'm one who's been following and trying to be more like the way. And so if God wants me to live that way, and then at the same time takes everyone and everything that used to make me,
And
when I've got nothing left to lose, I get to live freely.
Yeah.
So I kind of think what God's been doing is allowing me a break from the life of labor that I've been living, that I used to live, because I haven't worked a job in a while.
Yeah.
But I've been learning, man, and knowledge is power. God is the true power, though, that opens the doors, that allows the doors of possibility. And so I know that God is with all of us. All of us. And if we can believe, we can, my prayer, the prayers I ask for God is wisdom, for understanding. Please help me to know, what do I learn? How do I grow in order to accomplish the greater things? I don't think,
yeah. When
sorry
we
to keep going on. Hold on. Sorry to keep going on, but I'm going to, just for a moment, kind of swing back to that other comment from Chuck about God is not there to serve us. I believe God serves those who serve, right? That's how I want to live. I've been trying to reach the local leaders in my community, those who are in the act of service, the nonprofit leaders, even the police leaders, the government leaders. I think those of us who really care and have some ideas, we can bring some support to those who are serving others. We can serve those who are serving others, and together, man, this world will be renewed. Sorry. Well, I yield. Jump on in, Uncle Patty.
That's exactly where you're going. Back to that, tying it into Chuck's comment. I mean, the bigger the group, the more the force behind it. So I love that's part of being an ordained minister, is being part of the local clergy and being a part of the local city council meetings and recovery with our Al-Anon program, and getting family members involved in people's recovery. A lot of people go through AA and NA alone. And it takes a force behind them to hold them up for the good people that they are, and the change that they want to be, and the change they want to make, and being a part of the Chamber of Commerce and business, and being a local business owner, trying to show the first time business owners how to work the Schedule C, how to work their tax forms, how to think about things from a man who's worn all the hats in his own business for 20 years. Being a part of the change, being a part of the pulling people up the ladder, right?
That's what we're here to do. Hey, we've got someone else joining. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
How are you today?
Hey, my wife's trying to get me to take my medicine. I will in a minute, sweetie. Love you. Whenever I like to get on people's panel and see how they're doing. Jack, I clicked on your panel because of your thumbnail was so good. You got some wisdom.
Thank you, brother.
You really do. I just wish that wisdom, I don't know if you could help me because I'm a Christian. So if you're not a full-blown, Christian, conservative, then I don't think that we're in the same link is the bottom line. Maybe you can expose me to some truths I'm not saying, but right now in the state of being being Christian and conservative is the best methodology for me. Is there a better way to live?
Yes. I love your question, and I love your honesty. And I believe the way we should be living, or the better way that could be lived, is to move beyond labels? Because I'm curious. You've chosen and self-identified yourself as a conservative Christian, and I don't know what that means to you, nor why it's important that you identify as that. Do you?
I'm making it the basis of my personality because um, I'm 30 years old. I grew up a Democrat, trying to listen to my dad, but everything my dad, well, I wouldn't say everything, but 95% looking back on it. And like your thing said, I'm in a depression because I keep looking at the past because everything I was taught growing up is a lie.
Most of it was, I'm sure. Um, that's the
Racism,
society we.
all that, Jack. Like,
Okay,
you
so
know,
um, here's where I want to encourage you to consider. Okay, Christian conservative. Christian has a lot of different denominations, a lot of different practices, and a lot of different divisions. I believe the true, what unites all the Christians though is the teachings of the Christ. You know, what did Jesus teach? And what he taught was love. Now, the idea of conservatism, conservative leans more into the idea of politics. And what I'd like to remind you is that all of these religious denominations that fall under the umbrella of being a Christian and the political ideals that would be involved with being a conservative, those are the ways of the world, brother. And what Jesus was teaching us is to rise above the ways of the world. And you and I have had conversations before, and you're right. There have been divisions between us. There's been ideals that you have found that have kind of kept us from communicating together very well. But
well, I think I don't know what you are trying. Okay, you have a show that you do on YouTube, and I checked out your website. Okay, so you're some kind of public speaker, or you have some kind of organization, or like, is it an organization that like speaks publicly at a college like the Daily Wire? Because that's what I'm trying to like. What is it like? I know of other movements like they go to different colleges and speak. Like you're just a public speaker.
so far, I'm well. Again, with the definitions, I appreciate your asking, and I respect and thank you for exploring some of the other things that I've been doing. They're poor representation, I think, of what it is that I am, but I've grown into and I've been studying different modalities, different sciences, and different practices for health, helping people with emotional, particularly mental and emotional, spiritual health. But the idea for doing this was the idea working with people as a coach or a mentor that did appeal to me, but being able to help and hopefully help other people drew me into wanting to become a public speaker. I've studied and learned from other people, and I haven't yet found the opportunities to do so. Now, if I was on the path of being a public speaker, what my goal was similar to what you said, and I don't know about the connection of the Daily Wire, but I really do. I'd love to get in front of some college campuses, even high school campuses, and talk to some kids, even though I'm the old guy. You know, I'd love for the youth to become a little more inspired. Stop believing they're so limited by what their parents have shown, what the entertainment has shown. I want the world to recognize they've got so much potential. The world has so much potential. I got off from away from your question, MC Nemesis. But
See, I like that. It's very stunning because look, I'll tell you where you're best utilized, and and hopefully we can create an economy. So the Daily Wire, and it's not just them. It's just like anybody, like liberal. It doesn't matter. Like you could go to these colleges. Colleges are public places. We pay for them. I would encourage everyone to learn their rights. For one, the police officer are your public servants. I've got lost several times, and you could just like literally like find a like stop at the side of the road and say, "Hey, how do I get here? How do I get here? How do I like where am I at? How do I get to where I'm going?" They're public servants. They're there to help you. The police are not your enemy. So that's one. And for two, now I'm not saying corrupted police officers, but it's that's another matter. But I would like to say that if you're going to start a movement, it has to be centered around some sort of concrete ideology, such as, well, I mean, it doesn't have to, but it would help. You're more of a Jordan Peterson type academia scholar.
thank you.
But see that he was destroyed by the Canadian government. Like his reputation ruined, right? He was Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring. They founded the Daily Wire, so they took him at the prospect, a very intelligent man, and they gave him a platform to speak upon. But he is a conservative Christian. You are saying that you are not a conservative or a Christian. You don't want the label. And I would just like, okay, let's do away with the labels. Have you ever like talk about specific issues? All politics means is public matters, what is right and what is wrong. And regardless of what anybody says, you are a taxpayer and you have a right. So I would ask you like certain questions. Like as a conservative, I believe that abortion should be abolished. But I am also a pro-lifer as well. I'm an abolitionist, but I'm also a realist. Pro-life, I really want abolishment, but pro-life, I guess, is okay. So on individual issue of that, and the most ideologies that you align with, you go through a list, and whatever you check off the most, you might be moderate right leaning, moderate left leaning, but there is a category for you because I know everybody has an opinion about these beliefs, and it's what unites us. And politics means public. That's it. It doesn't have any other definition.
Actually,
public matters.
What unites us is time. Right now, this is the time where we live. And I mean, I'm happy to give you some comparisons of who I might align with, but honestly, my goal and my purpose, well, two things. I've said it before. Dr. Jordan Peterson is one of the people I'd hope to speak with. He's very well recognized. He's got an incredible mind when it comes to the mind. But he's been battling his own confusion. I'd love to speak with him and help him with his understanding of spirit. And then I'd also like to encourage Peterson and others to go speak at the UN regarding the innate importance or the true importance and the innate right of the freedom of speech, particularly for the human beings that are not living in the censorship of America and the Western world. There's brothers and sisters alive today who are living with different situations and different circumstances. And I believe that we, through the legislators, the government, through the systems that have evolved for us, we can use these systems to start standing up for other oppressed people. We can start using the systems to instill diplomacy like it's allegedly supposed to be for. I totally got on a soapbox there, didn't I? You asked.
Well, I'm just thinking, okay, so if you don't care about the subject, maybe you can let's talk about academia. So right now administration of colleges being overrun by radical leftist ideologies,
Is it
which
really
I'm
though?
not saying. I mean, it could be just as worse. Like, imagine if there was radical, like, right wing. Like, imagine if there was, like, Klan books and, like, things promoting racism. Well, the exact opposite is going on.
Is it really though?
That, like they're pushing the, instead of pushing the KKK, they're pushing the trans movement.
There's agendas, and then there are divisions and labels being promoted for many of us. But the truth is true. The divided, we remain governed. And so all of these, and here, brother, I'm going to press back on some of your, what I assume to be your beliefs, particularly if you're viewing from a conservative Christian. Well, that means you probably promote the idea of money, profits, of capitalism, which I've heard and seen you talking about. That's not the way of the Christ, brother. You've got a confliction within yourself if you promote a political party, number one, because the political parties they're actually, unfortunately, in their implementation, the political parties are there to oppress the citizens, not actually represent them.
I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. But who are we trying? And you're exactly right. Look, don't kid yourself. Like, government is there to oppress, but Jack, there are certain groups of people, I don't know if you know this, that we should oppress, such as felons, people who, like, are very violent people, Jack. Like, there are certain people that deserve oppression. Like, I know, like, you don't think that, but think about it. Like,
That's
what's standing in the way of literal terrorists coming into the country? Men like me who say, you come here, I don't care if the government fights you or not, I'm going to blow your brains out. And that's kind of what keeps the terrorists at bay too, because everyone has a gun.
Is that what Jesus taught?
No, it's definitely not.
Right. So,
but remember, Jesus said that when he comes back, he doesn't. He comes to bring a sword. So we are the Lord's sword.
Well, let's not take the word.
He comes back with his sword and he brings his angels to do the work for him.
Amen.
Right. And I'm saying that there is an army, there's a base that no matter what you say, are radicalized right now and are willing to go. And it's not even about us, Jack. It's like about people, men like me. If we tell them to do it, they're going to do it. That's what they're waiting on. Tucker Carlson has 11 million followers. If he tells them, if he virtue signals them for them to do it, they're going to pull those triggers. I'm just saying, like, we have things under control. I don't want you to worry. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. We are not going to let them destroy America.
You don't think it's happened?
So who is them exactly? Because what I'm kind of getting is
so me, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and go radical religion on it, because I'm just like, and I'm going to try to be logical, but this is where I'm at right now. Barack Obama is the literal Satan himself. Michelle Obama is really a man.
Mike Obama. Okay.
Like this is just what this is just what I'm thinking in my mind. And
gotcha.
And these are not like any evidence, but this is just my theories. And that's what I think. I think Joe Biden is a symbolism of Asadia, otherwise known as sloth. Like, everybody calling him Sleepy Joe. He represents the America that's asleep. And that's what. Yes.
So, sorry to interrupt. I agree with everything. Well, I agree that what you're saying could be true. There's certainly a case to be made, and I've heard many of those cases being made about some of the things you're saying. So, what do we do? I mean, I've got my own ideas with the belief and faith that God is with us. But so what do you think we do?
Well, I don't like, I'm not afraid of the devil. Because I know God's on our side. and he's letting his sleeping giants rise. And Trump, he never claimed to be a good guy. Everybody trying to portray him in the media like he's some bad guy. Trump, of course, is a villain. He's always been a villain. He used the system. He told people that he used the system, that he's trying to abolish the system that he used to become a billionaire.
The corruption is right in front of our face. And here's where I'm at. We can really spend a lot of time. There's many panels, many mainstream medias, all sorts of talking heads talking about the corruption. So we know the corruption exists. We know that the lobbyists and the banking industry and, the power of the dollar has maybe diminished in our own wallets, but the power of the dollar has taken over the minds of mankind, particularly, I think, in the political realm. And so what can we do as citizens? I believe waiting for Jesus to return is short. It's ignorance. It's blind. We're got a blind spot. Because if we're going to follow Jesus, let's make the world worthy of his return. Holy cows, he's already here. The Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of love, God's presence is here in the moment for us all to stop denying, to actually humble ourselves and ask and seek to know God. God, I am here in this moment. I rest in you. I am still so that I may know. And who knows? Those prayers are the ones that I offer myself, and I feel a spirit of comfort which settles within me when I humble myself to God and the perfection of the moment.
And the perfection of the imperfect. The perfection that there is imperfect, that everything doesn't have to be perfect.
And that it can be. And here, I figure if all of this is real, I mean, if world life is real and we really do have Donald Trump, not Donald Trump anymore, the other clown, we really do have the Sleepy Joe guy as the president of this nation, I raised my hand and was willing to go murder and be murdered in support of this nation. That's not why I did it. And that's not why the men and women I knew around me served this nation. It wasn't for this corruption and foolishness. I know for a fact we didn't understand. And I know for a fact in the conversations I had with my brothers and sisters in the army, we didn't understand. And I bet it only makes sense. There's men and women right now.
Definitely, I agree with you. Both of them are clowns. Like Donald Trump is a clown, but I'm just saying he did tell people. He said that he used the system to get it billions, and now he's going to try to destroy it because it's evil. So he did take advantage of migrant workers. He did a lot of things. Let's say, of course, he's a politician, but besides the point, at least he's like, he's honest about it. And I just want to know what the rhetoric is. There's a depopulation effort. Did you guys know? Did you guys know that the Democrats have been lying to us that everybody in America can fit in the state of Texas and that there's actually no population? Like the population control efforts are just based on wanting to kill people instead of actual facts and logic. Everybody in America can fit in the state of Texas. That's how bad. Yeah.
Can I ask you something though, brother Nemesis? Are we moving towards a holy war right now, or are we moving towards a political movement of conservative?
I think we finally had two lines. I think we finally had the truth and the lies, and the truth is coming to light. I was shocked myself. I just found out earlier today. I'm like, why did the Democrats keep going on about the population and it being so plentiful? And why do they go on about climate change whenever the Earth's actually cooling down? Well, it's crazy, dude.
I would contradict. I wouldn't contradict. I would say to that why are the conservative Christians saying what they're saying? Why are they saying this and why are they saying that? Why are we labeling each other? You know, I think it's when we label each other to the point of Democrat, conservative.
Yeah, that's what I'm questioning. Like
right?
everybody has a label now, non-binary.
And now that we bring the
look at all
the
those
abortion
labels,
into
non-binary, trans. It's crazy the labels, dude.
Nemesis.
Well, like for me, I'm pro-life, you know, but I'm also pro-choice. I'm pro-healthcare is what I am. I've had situations with family members where they've had stillborns, they've had non-viable pregnancies, and that's healthcare, you know. And I think that not only should a woman have the right to do whatever she wants with her body and with her future, and you know, bringing science into it and whatever else, blah blah blah. When it comes to that issue, though, is me being pro-choice? Does that label me as pro-death?
But she can have the baby and drop the baby off in a box. You don't have to kill a baby.
Hey,
I was adopted. I was adopted at 1 month old, so I've spent my whole life dealing with this.
What I mean is that you can put the baby inside a fire at the fire department, and they will take it into the adoption center. Like they have that program now to where you turn it over, and there's an alarm that goes off, and the firefighters come get the baby.
That's great. That's great.
There's ways that we can save human life. Like I said, there's no population.
Hey, right. Let me hold on.
We have room for every baby.
Yes. Here. We wouldn't have these. We wouldn't even really be having these discussions if we had a healthy society. If the society cared for one another, if human beings were not in a life or death financial struggle. You know, a single mom bringing another life into this world, that is an incredible burden that the world doesn't really give a shit about. The mom will be judged if she ends up, you know, unable to provide and receiving benefits. She gets judged, she gets denied. So
I'm pretty sure the firefighters care, and the person who adopted the baby after the baby was left in the box care.
Indeed they do. And so does the Dave Thomas Foundation. That's the Foundation for Adoption. I was adopted when I was 1 month old. Okay, my mom. I've met my maternal mother. It's the most
Jack
beautiful.
Just said people don't care. They said they don't care about the babies.
And people don't care about the mother.
People don't
I'm
care
sorry,
about
like Jack. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had to immediately push back because I don't want you to lie. Like those firefighters that do that, these programs.
Yes, they do care. Jack understands that they care. What he's saying is that when my mom got pregnant, okay, she was a 17-year-old Mormon girl, and she was shunned from her community. She was excommunicated and told to leave. She was homeless at 17 years old, out of nowhere, out of the blink of an eye, by a Christian society who called themselves good, God-loving Christians.
That's why
she went down and she gave me to the Catholic Church.
They got a target on their back too.
She gave me to the Catholic Church. I was raised Catholic, okay? When my girlfriend got pregnant in fucking freshman year, you know what happened? We both decided. We both came to Christ. We both asked for whatever clarity we could have. And she had an abortion. It's not just the woman going out and getting pregnant, some hooker that wants to have abortions all the time. On top of the fact that my sister-in-law had to have a hysterectomy because of a bad pregnancy. That surgery, that procedure that had to happen for them to take that dead baby out of her womb so she didn't die. So she did not have to die. That is also called an abortion.
You realize all pro-lifers believe in, in cases of extreme cases like life-saving measures. We don't even need to have this debate. You're not going to catch any pro-lifer that's not going to agree with you about the life.
That was all part of Roe versus Wade. All of that was worked into Roe versus Wade. That's why my grandma had more rights than my daughters do. My grandma fought for those rights. My grandma fought for that right for health care. That was all worked into part of Roe versus Wade. We're rehashing all of this crap that was already a standard. Okay, and that standard had it prevailed, had it stood.
Here, there's been
you can't
there's no change.
justify
There's
it.
no change.
If you have an abortion, there's a dead baby.
Okay, hey,
there's just-
McNemesis.
Listen, we can
Let's
get on all the
let's
semantics of it.
focus. Hold on. Let's focus more rather than see. This is what the oppressors want. Okay, buy into this bullshit. We can start judging each other. Those of us who are all trying to survive in this corruption. So I see so many, and this is frustrating. I see so many Christians getting on this fucking high horse about abortion, promoting the system of economics that keeps us enslaved, capitalism, and at the same time, just not a care in the world that we are murdering people with our with the military, the all these contractors and defense operatives. We have Americans engaged in murder and combat in many places that, you know what? Here, I'm speaking out of my ass. This is an assumption, but I bet it's true. There's men and women right now in the American uniforms in active hostility or actively working to overthrow. This is insanity. Guys, the abortion problem is a problem, okay? We all of us as alive today in this world, there's a lot of things that can be changed. And as long as we're spending our time just trying to find blame, we're not solving the problems. And
okay, Jack, I know you want a realistic solution. The realistic solution is this: we have a very small voice, very limited resources. The best we can do right now is try to stay unified and create a movement. And then once you have to sign up, you have to name your group at a college campus in order to be able to speak. And you could go speak there and you could use their mic setup that they have and their speakers. It's fine. You talk to people and invite, you can hang a poster or whatever, say, hey, this is what this is about. And they'll give you a platform because it's public speaking. College is about education. So you could do that. But first, Jack, you're not going to be able to get a movement started if you can't get on the same page. Part of the politics is trying to get on the same page. And
How do we do that? How do we do that?
We have to compromise.
I just told you where I'm at. I've told you that I've gone through some things. I've told you that I've made decisions that I'm not really too proud about. But I've allowed
Imagine,
Jesus.
listen. I want to negotiate. Imagine you're look. I want to negotiate with you. What can I do to save lives? What will you allow me to do to save lives? I don't want. Look, man. Look, I know things are hard. I know it can cause financial strain, but please don't encourage anybody to end a human life. Like I said, we're working hard. We're trying to put them in boxes. We're trying to adopt them. Just don't, I can't stand the thought of, right, the tools, and then the contraceptive pill kills them, and
brother,
it's just
right now
it hurts me.
More than that, though.
All right.
More than that, though. Can I use a label? Can I use a label in association with guilt by association? So I'm not assuming, but I'm thinking that some of the far right Christian conservative would label me as unholy or label me as evil because I've done that, because I believe in that, because I believe in the right to life. I believe in pro-choice at the same time, and I think that label of pro-choice becomes a label of pro-death.
I just want you and your cult to stop killing babies. And I know they're
standing beside you.
And look, and I know.
Michael, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Hold on.
I'll take that label. I'll take that label of my
cult.
Hold
on a minute, please. I'm interrupting both of you. You sitting up here saying your cult. Okay? You're creating, and here, let's have a come to Jesus moment, right? Let's bring ourselves.
I got people in government that I support.
Let's bring ourselves into reality, okay? Sharing the gift of presence with each other. And let's be realistic. Between the three of us without vaginas or wombs, why are we discussing this? I mean, unless we're going to actually be a part of bringing forth solutions, which, again, discussing the problems isn't the solution.
Like I said, Jack, I got people that I support in government, and they're working really hard to make laws that will protect human life.
Okay, so you're placing your
and we're in
the
we're
laws.
yes.
You're in the wrong place then. Or actually, you're in the right place, but I encourage you to listen rather than keep trying to teach. Because if you're placing your well, golly geez, here I am again judging, and I should not be, but I still say you're in the right place. The thing is, though, based on what you've identified yourself as, okay, and the past conversations we've had as well, brother, I think you're stuck in the ways of the world. You're not clearly understanding what we're talking about.
Maybe I am, but like I said, and I'm not trying to stand on any moral high ground. I'm just saying, if I'm in a pro-life, I'm really an abolitionist. But if I got to step to pro-life, I know there's people out there that would vote it down. But majority, they have a lot of people. But I'm just asking.
Does that mean that we can't agree on anything, though? If we can't agree on that one thing, does that mean
please
that we
don't legalize?
What the fuck's with all these imagined disagreements, man? Why are you allowing this, Jack? I mean, I know it's part of your good-hearted nature, but seriously, get a handle on this pig.
Wait. You come up here and you insult me, and then you say
it's not an insult. It's an insult to the pig. It's a description of your condition. It's more insulting to the pig.
That baby
pigs don't do this behavior.
No one's
so
saying.
Is that what you're saying? You
sir, that is you. You're imagining disagreements.
Then you don't
get out of your imagination. Get out. It's scary in there.
Well, I appreciate that check, Paul, honestly, because you're right. It's imagined disagreements, but
better him than me. But how do we come together? How do we find a middle?
So my wife's pregnant right now. It's an imaginary issue. Okay.
Here's how we come together.
You want me to rape him, Jack? I'll fucking rape him if I have to.
I know you would.
What is with this obscenity? That's vulgarity and obscenity.
I'm going to mount you, sir. Get it together. Jack's speaking. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, the way we come together, the way we unite is we stop with what you're doing, Nemesis, with accusing a cult being imposed or creating this us and them. Join us, meaning don't just come in with your own agenda, but join and understand what we're talking about. What we're talking about is we're on the same page. No one, hey, you just said, McNemesis, people promoting killing babies. That's a bunch of bullshit, false narrative. And if you want to be a Christian, you better be honest, right?
Yeah.
Let's be clear. If you supported killing babies, a lot of these panels wouldn't exist, and God might smile upon that eventuality.
So what is an abortion?
It depends on the situation, sir.
Yes. Well, it is the termination of a fetus. Okay. So if you want to be right and offensive with the purpose of just being right and a douchebag, congratulations.
We all must.
Your narrative is unhelpful, though.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. What would you like?
Thank you. Stop right there.
I don't understand why you don't believe that the way I do.
Would you like to understand, or are you trying to impose your way onto us? I mean,
well, I used to be Democrat when I was a kid, so I think and then I switched to. And I'm just saying, I know you don't want to use labels, but I'm just saying these are just the states of mind that I've been in, Jack. Maybe I've been propagandized too long.
No, brother, please. Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt because you were offering it, right? There's another step. There's another step. You're growing and you're allowing your values, your affiliations to change. There's another step, though, and that's where you can join us beyond this nonsense of left and right.
Can we abort him, Jack, or what? Give me the go-ahead.
It's too late. It's too late. We have another one that you know what? Let me not be offensive and welcome. Welcome, Moose. It's good to see you again, brother.
Hey, Jack. I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to offend the other guy. I, I just wanted to point out how it's not love to let the retarded continually do things that are bad for them. Like MC Nemesis, this is totally bad for your music career. Do you think that the people that abort babies don't listen to your music? I mean, nobody probably listens to your music. But Verily's not here today, so I don't understand why this topic came up. Can we change it?
I'm going to stop you right there. This is the same logic I gave to Jack Talcott. His channel's doing better than ever. All right, so retardation is all perspective. That's what I learned. There's a lot of happy, faithful retards out there. They're doing way better than a lot of folks
I don't
hosting
appreciate
panels.
you making
Let's be
fun
clear.
of me. I don't get offended that people say the R word, but you know, I do have mental cognition issues.
You're right. That was
actually
obvious.
Really mean.
Like
anybody that talks to me,
Jack,
I have mental cognitive issues.
You're kicking ass, Jack. You don't need the producer Moose to help you out. You've obviously got this on track. I yield.
The thing is, he probably could use a producer, much like myself, but you can't produce anything. So no sense talking to you about that endeavor.
He can. He could. He could. I have faith he could.
He could, but he won't. That's even worse.
Well,
man, Paul, that is worse.
Right. But this is the state of the world.
I just ask for kindness in your insults. That I am a retard, but I try to have a big heart.
Hey, Nemesis.
I see it.
You do have a big heart, but you know what? Bless you. You're part of this experience, the Talcottian adventure. I seem to meet a lot of people with great hearts, and they just confusion sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I have a big heart.
Well,
Moose is a big heart. You're gonna have a big hole, hole in the rear
Jack,
end.
the problem that I've discerned is these folks have big heart and small genitals.
Well, I don't care.
Mine's average.
That's what they all say.
Let's come back though to what
I swear to God it is.
Let's come back to what we were talking about with the potentials, right? There's a potential producer in Moose. For sure. It just hasn't shown. This is the world we're living in. There is so much potential within so many people, but I believe many people are, who brought it up earlier, climbing the ladders. They're on the wrong ladders, right? Maybe
yeah,
not.
Man. Speaking of wrong ladders, I was over in London Man's channel. I have no clue how I stumbled in there, but definitely, Jack, I had to climb off of that ladder and come back to Talcottia because I know I belong
you need a
here.
long ladder to get to the pits of hell. That would make sense.
Pits of hell. No, man.
I thought that was Slave Dave's channel.
Well, to Nemesis, I would ask, do you feel like you're living in the present? Do you feel like by having these preordained notions of people, these labels of people, that just the label itself might be a trigger, and that just living in the future and living in the what if this labeled person gets power? What if this labeled person becomes society? Is that a part of living in the future? Is that anxiety? Maybe that you're feeling about a future of left and right and the battle between them.
I just feel that it's just like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get out of this state of consciousness. Like, there's no way I can disagree with them. I cannot disagree with the conservatives. They're logically true. I was able to get out of my emotions, and then I went to the right? Because Democrats play a lot on emotions.
Have you ever tried to weights or getting exercise or getting some air outside?
All right, let me help out here. I think I know what the problem is now. Have you ever tried using both sides of these pendulum swinging aspects of yourself together in unity?
That's a great question.
I think it might be too dangerous to do that to you.
Right. It might tear the fabric of the space-time continuum and the United States Corporation in half.
I'm a leftist, man. I'm a lefty, and it's hard for me to watch Fox News. But I do it, and I force myself too. So you have to find both sides. You have to present yourself with that of which you fear.
Did you literally bring Fox News into this? That's some cupcake shit.
Just in general, you know what I'm saying. Zebra
Paul
boy
listens to Alex Jones.
Actually, hey, you know,
I listen to everyone. If you want to be technical, go ahead.
What Paul was saying. What Paul was saying was spot on. Using both sides, because conceptually you could say, and it's not accurate, but conceptually you could say that the left is more bleeding heart and the right, like you just said, I can't argue with it. That makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of logic. Finding the balance between those two, though, will let you realize that neither choice is any good. They're both.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
I just want to say something real quick since you don't pay attention to your chat. All you little fuckers who want to keep making threats like Panhead and others, you are being watched, you dumb fucks. And Jack, since you don't pay attention to your chat, you might want to pay attention to threats and all the dumb shit going on in your chat as well. It's your responsibility to run your show.
All right.
We're having a conversation.
Thanks for your warning.
So,
I mean,
respect
one would
and
have to
acknowledge the
wonder
short
why
bus.
there would be so many moderators and yet such a wanton display of excess threats and violence while other folks are being moderated simply for saying things people don't like. It's bizarre.
So
you wonder why we're in slavery. They'll have certain folks at the gallows for saying shit you don't like while the folks who are threatening the actual violence are hanging in the group.
I don't care what you say. I want you to answer my question. Why did you call me a pig? We have to get past that first.
Well, I mean, you just kind of look and present like one of those southern pigs, like one of those porker pigs.
Now I understand why Jack's always mad, because
you're kind of like a
he has
male
to do
version of
everything
Anna Nicole
himself.
Smith.
His mods
No
don't do
offense.
their job. The panelists don't do their job. I mean, Jack's doing everything himself here. And then you guys don't even listen to him.
Well, I would definitely help him. I would be a neutral force, and well, I wouldn't be. I mean, for Jack, I would.
Okay, I don't want to break down the fourth wall here, but Nemesis is obviously here, like most folks, just to bring attention to his horrible channel. So,
no,
Jack, now you know what I've been dealing with for a year and a half. I've given you the greatest simulation ever taste. So, I hope you're happy.
Someone who has 33,000 subscribers on YouTube and is a drama channel. Jack is a psychology channel. You or a truther. You are a drama channel.
No, I see what you do. You pick one side or the other and you argue it to the end. And once you're faced with like objective logic, you fold to the comedy as a coping mechanism.
Give me an example.
And I appreciate it. I mean, I'm not down on your approach. I'm just kind of calling it for what it is.
Like
I'm pretty good at this.
You are a YouTuber.
You are.
And you're
Thank God Sarah's here.
A little bit more than that.
You're a YouTuber criticizing me for self-advertisement when our names are the advertisement. I mean, this is who we are. Being a creator is part of us, but you're putting me down.
Here's the thing. Hold on.
There's a difference between being a co-creator in life and a content creator on YouTube.
And
but I
people
am
who just come on to create stuff for their own entertainment. I actually do. Well, maybe we all do.
Hi, Sarah.
Hope to share value.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, Sarah. Nice to see you again today.
Nice to see you.
Nemesis, we could get along. Well, actually, all of us, we can get along if we choose to. The patterns of our lives, though, convince us, and this is where Uncle Fatty was kind of asking you. I don't know if you caught it.
I prefer Daddy Fatty, if you will.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
The other one.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
The other one, yeah. About being in the present, because it ties into the topic. In the present, we can let go of some of the labels, right? And just allow the present to be. And if we don't join the panel, join each other with the idea that there's already a division. I'm coming in and it's them, those people who want to murder babies. You know, we don't want
We all want the best for humanity. We all want the best. The left and the right both want to see humanity flourish and thrive. You know, it's the left and right label that separates us. The only thing that separates us is our own labels of each other.
And those are imagined. That's what I'm saying. Everything that keeps us apart is imagined. Everything that draws us together perhaps is imagined as well.
We're just trying to control our own reality, and control is an illusion. Everybody has their own reality. It's our responsibility to be able to step into everybody else's reality and be accepted, and to be
it's
accepting
a false
of
left-wing narrative. There is no our reality. There is the reality. There is the truth. There's not our truth.
Okay.
God is
according to you. According to you, sir.
Well,
but everybody does have. Everybody doesn't think that.
Burst the poison that the left has. I have to. I'm a counterbalance. I'm a
you're claiming titles and creating these enemies, divisions, identifying the left with anything you don't like. And
no, I identify the left with the beliefs that they have. And
I know your
belief is that.
Hey, Nemesis,
does Jesus need your help?
I don't.
No.
Does Jesus need your help to do that? To tell me what to do? Did Jesus send you here to tell me how to live my life?
He needs no help.
No, dummy. He sent Donald Trump.
Then why are you stepping in? Why are you fulfilling that role?
Jack likes that shit.
He did. He appoints people to have power, like Elon Musk, Donald Trump.
Sure.
There you see.
There it is.
And
that's a clear chain of title, right? We got Bible, Jesus, Donald. I can totally see that.
That's why when you look at me as a person that is pro-life,
and I'm asking you, please don't
assume
ban
that I'm unholy.
Explain to me how wrong I am. Please get me to change. If
I'm
on the wrong path,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I am not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I
don't want to be out here because, dude, I'm about to go into 2024 and center my music around this. So before I launch a bunch of what you think is bad, I mean, this is highly volatile. I'm about to go viral with this next year because it's 2024. Before I do it, you better tell me if this is true or not, the conservatives I believe. Because if you think it's wrong, you got to tell me why. Otherwise, what I've been told, I'll do a lot of research.
I don't tell you anything if you're honest. You're going to do what you're going to do.
Please tell me the truth.
Join us in the present.
Yes.
Okay.
The truth, the Republicans are just as bad as the Democrats. They're just
but how?
the same coin. They have a different strategy, but they're on the same agenda.
How?
Because the
abortion.
Where do you get your information from on the Republican side?
Because of immigration.
You sound like you're maybe from.
How is the Republicans evil? Can you please give me an example, please?
I mean, should we start with like the state of Israel and the unification with the United Kingdom and the worldwide wars for profit that they can't get enough of?
At a baseline, let's say, so you're mentioning
at a baseline. Should we go to then like warp speed where your buddy who was supposed to be about personal choice and rights encouraged everybody to do certain things that we can't speak about?
Hey, to be honest with you, I really don't care about foreign politics. I just honestly
we're talking about what happened.
I just care about
Should we go to the co-creation with Henry Kissinger and other centralized bankers who profiteer on said wars that I mentioned from the beginning?
Just real quick.
Well, just because somebody profits off something doesn't mean that.
Oh, right. So if you profit off slavery and genocide and you create more slavery and genocide, you're not inherently wrong. You're just a middleman for it.
Is my audio clear, Jack?
Hold on just a moment. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Were you,
Chris?
Were you jumping in with something?
I just want to make sure you can hear me. I'm not trying to cut off anybody.
Okay. I'm sorry. I interrupted then.
Okay. So you're saying, I'm sorry too, but Paul was saying that the Republicans are guilty of evil perpetuation.
Right. I'm sure Donnie took 3 trips to Epstein Island to audit the place.
I know.
He definitely wasn't doing what everyone else was doing there.
Guilty of evils. That doesn't change the fact that I think they are the lesser of 2 evils.
Okay. But why
the lesser of 2 evils is still evil?
Yes.
Yeah, but we got to choose. There's only 2.
No, you don't. Stop. That's the deception.
MC Nemesis walking around with his ruler.
Nemesis, we don't have to choose. Okay. We don't have to accept the shitty choices that have been given to us. What we do actually have an opportunity to do, well, we can do whatever we want. What I'm encouraging others to do, what I think we can do, is confront the systems, the human beings in the systems, and recognize the people are not the enemy. The systems are the enemy. Those who are serving the systems are actually doing a disservice to themselves and everyone else under the current design.
And yes, both sides have systems that they use against the public to keep them looking at the other person, to keep them looking the other way of what they're actually doing behind the scenes, to keep us looking at money and not each other, to keep us looking for hatred.
Well, let's go to his Republican founders who pretty much put out a private publication where they all admitted the people that they were supposedly fighting against said they're all in a room together, the bankers summoning demons, essentially, giving them all the equations on how to run the public and trick them out of position. So I tend to believe them when they show you and tell you who and what they are. I'm weird
Paul,
like that.
hey, I know you have your conspiracies, but I'll try to stay rooted in reality.
Again, I'm not interested in my conspiracies. Yeah. I said your founders said, Samuel Adams and others said they got access to the centralized bankers' rooms and meetings, and it turned out, like it always is in every culture, that they were calling in something that was giving them some kind of a plan, just like the Nazi Germans. It was released to private communications, what they were working on, becoming conduits.
Do you have a
just
source
like the
for
CERN,
this? Can you give me your source?
Slave, I'm speaking. Just like the CERN.
What are you talking about? I just asked what your
Stop
source
cutting
was.
Paul off, dude. Holy fuck.
He doesn't have to explain the whole thing. He can just give me the source.
Right, because you just made reality into a conspiracy theory because reality is stranger than fiction, and you can't wrap your chimpanzee mind around it.
What's your source?
Here.
What's my source? History, spirituality, first-hand experience.
Where did you read that from? Like what specific book? What specific? I want to read the information for myself, dude. What's the source?
That's the thing is, I'd have to get you a list of sources because you can't look and also see. That's part of the problem.
I suggest before you propagate a conspiracy, you at least get some sort of.
It's totally not like a unified, organized, top-down system. Totally, it's not triangulated either, like the back of your dollar bill.
Bro, I would love to read your book. Please write one, but I don't know, bro. What's your source? My source is the Daily Wire.
What's your source that all this is random coincidence?
The Daily Wire gets their source from multiple news outlets, and they're also their own news source because they have
moment.
Brother Nemesis, please check out the papers, check out the writings of James Madison.
Please, I'm interrupting. Please, thank you. What is the source? It's a valid question. However, you're a grown man. Please, I encourage you, if this is, something new to you, look into some of the ideas of history. But there are so many mysteries in what has happened, and there are a lot of tales. You asked this question, and what Paul's talking about, I recently came across something along this line too, that a lot of the knowledge and secrets on how to manipulate money and people, it has been passed allegedly through seances and sacrifices, doing these ceremonies to communicate with the dark energies. Nemesis.
Okay.
Kind of like his number one Republican source, which would be the Holy Bible, which literally talks about folks worshiping in the groves like Bohemian Grove and throwing their own children into the pits to serve some force that's telling them what to do. There's your source.
You can believe whatever you want to believe. Look, I'm not going to put down your beliefs, Paul. You believe what you believe for a reason.
So they just reminded me
but
that
I would just like to
YouTube video I wanted to review. A guy infiltrated the Bohemian Grove.
I want you to stick to tangible,
right? So
reality, concrete, something that we all can relate to.
Can you understand that you're not supposed to talk over Provo King?
Maybe team up against MC Nemesis, be on Paul's side for a moment. And I'm talking.
What?
I don't know what's
come back.
I don't know what anyone just said for a while there.
I was trying to listen. Please, I ask, can we all do a little better job of trying not to overspeak each other?
Jack, I'll say it for you. Can you do a better job at shutting the fuck up so he can hear? So the crowd can hear? So somebody can hear?
That's the idea. When multiple...
Sorry about that, Jack. I had you guys muted and I was talking to myself for a minute. You know how that is.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Brother Nemesis was asking for some sources. I would recommend reading some James Madison, some Ben Franklin, some of the original Federalist Papers on how these guys came to the conclusion. I mean, James Madison, he spent his whole life trying to figure out how to not have religion be a basis of government. He dove very, very deep into this subject that was just being argued.
Well, I know Benjamin Franklin's a Satanist. I knew that.
Well, the problem is he's more of an Anne Rice kind of guy.
Sure, but in general, I would recommend reading those Federalist Papers. I would recommend reading the original founders' works. That I found a lot of clarity there in my own spirituality, in my own beliefs of government.
I don't know what you don't understand. Donald Trump admitted to all this, that he's evil, that he used the system.
I know he did. But you were looking for sources. I'm trying to give you some sources that you can check out.
Okay. So telling me that members of the Republican Party are Satanists, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Jew or I don't care.
Okay, well,
that's why we stick to the conservative issues instead of religion. Believe whatever you want.
Oh my God! Hey, fuck, oh dear.
I'm trying to give you a source that you can check out. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to label anybody.
I'm not interested in who was a Satanist and who was not.
Hey,
55 of the 58. 55 of 58 signers of the Declaration.
He just gave you what you needed. He just indirectly revealed himself. Like I said from the beginning, he's not interested in good and evil or even consciousness and awareness. He's interested in what he thinks is going to benefit him and people like him. That's why he's duped and deceived.
Here, what he just said too, it's a common thing. You can believe whatever you want.
Paul, should I not stick out for my own self? Are you saying that I shouldn't? Wait, hold on.
You don't know yourself, so your best attempts to benefit yourself will only lead to more slavery and impoverishment. It's clear.
Please explain.
It's in your patterns, and until you look at your patterns, you're not going to be. Until
you said it's going to lead to more poverty and stuff. And please explain, and please help me get off this destructive path. And I'm not saying this like I'm trying to be sincere as possible to understand you, but I'm in a very confused place with Paul and Jack right now because and I feel also like Uncle Fatty is also perpetuating a narrative that I'm the bad guy here, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm some kind of unhinged, crazy individual, when quite the opposite is true.
I'm just trying to say, open your mind, brother. I'm just trying to say, open your mind to the other side of the pendulum. Open your mind to other sides. Scare yourself with that investigation. Allow yourself to be scared. And maybe overcome that fear that the other person isn't as bad as you think they are.
I watch the Young Turks all the time. I keep up with the Democrats and the Republicans and all kinds of people. But what I don't do, honestly, I mean, I have looked into conspiracies, but dude, I don't really like conspiracies.
Here,
something's wrong with you, MC. You're kind of retarded.
I know I am retarded, and I would appreciate, people just be respectful, and I do have cognitive issues.
Me too. That's why I know real recognize real. We're on the same level.
All right, Jack, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys later.
Of course he leaves, dude.
Respect to you, Paul. I appreciate it. I'm probably ready to wrap up shortly myself, too.
Jack, I come to these panels, and honestly, like I said, you're some kind of moderate, which is fine. You're some kind of moderate, but you get really angry at these issues. That's why I keep addressing them. You have to understand something, Jack. People get very emotional at these issues, and because they get emotional, that's why I keep hammering them. And I'm not going to stop because they are emotional.
Hey, Nemesis, you're creating your justifications, and you're presenting yourself as doing good and bringing what is needed. But you know what? Your story is not accurate. I would like to offer you, I know that we have communicated in the past. I would like to offer you again, rather than have the audience and the interruptions or the distractions, I'll say. Let you and I talk, okay? I can explain to you and answer some questions and maybe even share some resources that might be relevant and helpful rather than
if you were who I needed you to be, then yes, we could synchronize. But I feel like you're not who I need you to be before we can take the next
move on. Then move on.
Move on.
Dude, I offered.
Yeah.
I don't. If you don't approve,
and I'm offering
take
to
your happy ass on.
I
don't
don't
care.
Kick him, Jack.
What are you actually seeking, Nemesis?
Sarah can help you. She can open up a business.
Please, someone challenge my beliefs.
What are you seeking, Nemesis?
That's
Sarah just asked
the
you.
truth. I
beliefs.
think that I found the truth, and this the truther community. I will tell you all what I found. I went into the wilderness and I found it. Do you want to see it or not?
You're seeking to know that you're right.
Yeah, turn on your camera. Show us.
I mean, this is well. I mean, you can turn up the light if you want to, Becca, but they've seen me on camera. I'm not. I said I went out into the wilderness and I found something. It's metaphorical.
Oh,
it's metaphorical. Metaphorically,
I thought you
found
something
conservatism.
Like
the truther community. Listen, if you want to know the truth right now, I think it's Christian conservative. I think that's the truth.
Okay, congratulations. You won the game.
Now, if someone can debate me, if someone can convince me otherwise,
you don't shut up. You don't shut up. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, but not to feed your ego and let you continue rambling about. You know what, brother? If you feel you found all the answers, then why are you seeking validation? I suspect you know that you have not found the answers, and that's why you're out here seeking. But you're too arrogant and not humble enough to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to project or assume.
Let's talk about issues that matter, Jack, not some vague
what I've been trying to do. And
ideations.
you've been trying to bring up all sorts of blame and all sorts of things.
Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about abortion. Let's talk about what the people want us to talk about.
Brother Talcott, I just would like to ask for 5 seconds of silence to bring the energies down.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to count it in my mind.
It's a beautiful practice, and thank you.
When you're ready, Jack, take the lead.
I don't mean to get frustrated. I see, unfortunately, though, I see opportunities. People do have a lot of questions. And then we get into what we think, and then we're not getting any answers. I don't know. I don't mean to.
People must be used as tools to accomplish the will of the leaders. That is the purpose of humanity.
Should I go back to the starting line, Nemesis? Should I go back to the starting line and follow your path? Will that
everybody in society has a purpose. However, if you try to put me, who's not athletically gifted, and you try to say, can you go entertain people with professional basketball? Nobody will want to watch me, period. Because I suck at basketball.
Okay. Enough analogies, okay?
Just like I do not. Well, oh, wait. Remember, lady ballers. Nobody wants to watch men pretend to be women or women pretend to be men. Nobody wants to see that.
You know, MC Nemesis is right about that. So give credit where credit is due.
What's your path? What's your goal? Why are you here? What are you seeking? What are you seeking?
To spread awareness, and hopefully we can end the transgender movement.
That's forceful. That's not a seeking movement. What are you seeking?
Yep, it's forceful, and I hope it happens.
That's not seeking. That's not seeking, right? Though that's
no,
not
there's
seeking.
no point arguing. He's seeking his path.
Please explain to me how I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please explain to me. Seriously.
Well, here, it's not a matter
I'm not
of
seeking validation. This is the truth. Men can't be women. Do you disagree? Go ahead. You're a Democrat. Go tell me the sky's red.
You know what? I'm really getting tired of this. I've been patient. Okay?
No, Jack, I'm tired of your moderate.
All right. Have a good day.
How are you living in the here and now? Obviously, what?
They are pushing. He definitely watches the Daily Wire. He's been a little bit brainwashed by them because they push the transgender thing a lot and how it's evil, which I don't. I think it's a mental disorder. I think they're being completely mind fucked and pushed into do things, and it's very, very harmful and destructive. But I don't think it makes them evil.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of people being.
Hey, Tommy! Bring it back up. Bring it back up.
Number 3 McNemesis meal and a large chocolate shake, fries. I get a 2 apple pies with it too.
Double bacon cheeseburger.
I'm ready to end the stream. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Jack. Yeah. Fine. Let Uncle Fatty go first.
It was good sharing some here and now with you, Jack, today. It was good sharing some here and now and realizing that some folks just can't live in the here and now. That's just part of life, and we got to do what we can to help them, bring them to the here and now. I don't know, man. But tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. Tomorrow's going to be just as beautiful as today was, man. I know that much is true. I believe that every day.
Thank you, Uncle Fatty. All right. Have a blessed evening. God bless you. Thank you. Provo.
Brother Talcott, first and foremost, let me start with what they call a compliment sandwich. I'm going to say something nice about you first. I think you got a great demeanor, you got a great heart, and you got a lot of wisdom behind you. Now for the negative. You pack that in between the compliments, right? So the negative is, Jack, there's really, not a lot of growth happening here. Okay. There might be some struggles you have, but the channel, to me, when I look at it, stagnating.
Yep. I agree.
The things I'm seeing are repetitive and not fruitful.
I know.
And I don't have advice for that, right? But that's just my thoughts and my reflection on the moment so far. But here's the compliment to end the compliment sandwich, Jack. I know who you are. You're a strong-willed, resilient person, and I know things will change. And what is today won't be tomorrow. And I look forward to tomorrow and what you bring. Okay. And with that, Jack, I'm always praying for you. I always wish the best for you. Sorry, I kind of fucked up your show. Hey, you're a legend, Jack. And just keep up being yourself, right? Just stay true to that. And with that, God bless everybody. Jack, end with at least, if I can ask, a 10 to 15 minute monologue, because those are mainly the only parts of your channel I listen to now. I love the monologue. So if you could talk for 10 minutes or 5 at least, I would really appreciate it. God bless.
Provo, thank you, man. You carry such a wonderful, encouraging energy. Spirit of love is with you, and I receive it. Thank you. To all those who joined the panel, thank you to you. I do appreciate the participation. My frustration is it was well observed, well stated by Provo. I agree completely. Unfortunately, I'm feeling stagnant in what I've been bringing, and it's not something I'm not proud of that. And I like to do things I'm proud of. So I'm trying to figure it out, trying to find a way. And I've been telling myself for a long time, I know it's here. I know the shift. I know there's a change. There's something about to happen. And when it happens, brothers and sisters, I believe we are going to be a part of something big. Because I know who I am, and I'm not the type who stops. And I know there's a lot of fear in this world. There's a lot of hate, a lot of anger. And there's a lot of good-hearted people with the best of intentions just getting in their way, causing interruptions, causing problems, bringing arguments, just irrelevant things. And it's not limited to just here. I'm not just describing this. I'm describing the world and the chaos we live in. Because brothers and sisters, unfortunately, fortunately, good and bad, life is what it is. There's corruption. There is evil. There is some really heartbreaking tragedies going on. Tonight we talked about a lot of different things, the purpose of what I really did want to get into. And maybe I did a poor job. I don't know. Everyone gets to decide. What I hoped to show and to share is being present and in the moment. My reactions, frustration is when I see the panel kind of getting away, the conversations taken off into things that, you know, all right, it's entertaining to discuss some things, but brothers and sisters, I know what we're here to do. We're here to live freely. Now, to live freely, it requires some responsibility. It requires some integrity. It requires one to become whole, not just for themselves, but for those they share time and share their experience with. So, brothers and sisters, to feel whole, to feel full, don't go chasing the bottle. Don't go clicking on the porn. You know, if you want to feel whole, you want to feel complete, get out that to-do list, right? Bring out those goals that you've been putting off. Figure out which one can be accomplished today, right now. Because if we start improving our own lives each day, we'll have more time in our lives, won't have so many problems to distract us. And with more time in our lives, fewer problems in our lives, we'll be able to really give some good attention to those we care about. Just Frank, I love you, man. I don't think I can pull it off. Here, I'm not going to distract. I'm wrapping it up. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, thank you to all who joined today in the panel, on the chat, and who may be sharing some time checking it out at a later point. Sincerely, thank you. Do the subscribe thing, hit the notifications so you can join us again. And in the future, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. There's been some great people who have joined together here. And when we figure out our rhythms and personalities, start getting over the irrelevant disagreements, getting into the deeper topics, man, we're going to be sharing some inspiration, enlightenment. People's lives will be transforming. And it won't just be us. It'll be the way it is. Anyway, next time, much love, peace for everyone, and thank you sincerely. Choose love and live without fear.